everyone, and welcome to God and Growth. It is a new year and therefore a new season. I am so blessed and honored to have the opportunity to continue doing this and having you as a top tier of an experience. Thank you so very much for joining me once more. I cannot wait for you to be a part of this journey that the Lord has prepared us this 2024, the lessons that we'll be learning, the conversations that we'll be having. Absolutely amazing. If you're joining us for the very first time, my name is Thubelihle Maduma. This is God and Growth, a platform that has been created for you and I to have wholesome conversations, hoping to inspire a life of holistic growth. If you like our content, please do not hesitate to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe. It is 2024 and the year, well, no longer beginning, but we are still at the beginning. Therefore, I would like to share with you some growth tips that have worked for me since I started this year and on my journey, things that I have been working on, things that I've been desiring, that I have seen God really work out in my life. And it has all boiled down to those particular tips. So without wasting any time, let us get into Thubes 2024 growth tips. Grab a chair and let's share. All right, so before I get into number one, I would like to start off with a verse found in the book of Psalm 92, verse 13. It reads, "The righteous will flourish like a palm tree. They will grow like a cedar of Lebanon, planted in the house of the Lord. They will flourish in the courts of our God." The key thing that I would like you to take right there is that these righteous, they will flourish like a palm tree. They will grow like a cedar of Lebanon. However, it will only happen if they are planted in the house of the Lord. So as you take on those growth tips, know that the starting point is you being planted in the house of the Lord, is you being planted in God. Be the seed that is fully set on the ground, who is Jesus Christ, and He will cultivate you and allow growth to take place. Right. So my tip number one for the year is this: identify the growth area that you would like to grow in. So we all want to grow in something. You could be wanting to grow in your spiritual life, financial life, mentally, socially, emotionally, whatever the case may be. Identify what area of your life do you want to grow in. And I know it is possible that we want to grow in all areas of our lives, but it is important that you identify it. Let it be clear what exactly it is that you want to grow in. The second thing that you want to do, which is very important, is reason. Have a reason as to why you want to grow in that particular area of your life. The why is always the motivation to continue with the what. So if your why is not clear, it will be very tricky and a bit difficult for you to continue fighting and moving and grinding on the days when you do not feel like it. The third point, which is one of my favorites, and I think this is exactly what has worked for me, is based on Habakkuk 2 verse 2, and I'm going to read in your hearing. The Bible says, "And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that ye may run that readeth it." So it is okay for you to identify, it is okay for you to have reason, but it's also important for you to write it down. Let the vision be written down, and not just written down, but specifically. So point 3, be specific with your goal, right? So yes, you want to grow spiritually, but what exactly do you want to grow in terms of your spiritual life? Do you want to have a deeper relationship with God in terms of you having a prayer life? Or do you want to have a devotional life where you are having morning devotions? Or do you want to fast more? Or do you want to memorize verses? What exactly do you want to do? Yes, you want to have a successful business, but what exactly about the success of your business are you desiring? So be specific with that goal and let it be clear that you may be able to run with it every time you read it. And please, if you may put it in a place where it's visible, easy to read, easy to remember, always become the motivation every time you wake up in the morning, let that be so. Right. Point number 4, invite God. So now you have identified, you have your reason, you have made it clear. You now need to start the growing process. But that cannot happen unless you have invited God. Growth cannot take place in the absence of God. I mean, this is why we call this channel God and Growth, because wherever God is, growth takes place. So invite God. Let him lead this growth journey that you want to take on. Let him be in charge, because he is going to give you the wisdom to see what you need to work on, right? He's going to give you the spiritual discernment for you to identify what is wrong and what is right, whatever it is that you need to move forward with and whatever it is that you need to take a step back on. Number 5, create your growth space. This is so important. You cannot grow in a space that is not conducive for growth. So whatever environment that you are in, ensure that it is conducive for the growth that you are working on. You want to lose weight, you want to be more fit, get rid of the junk food around your space. You want to have a deeper relationship with God, make sure that you have books and Bibles all the time around you. Make sure that you center yourself around people that share the same values and principles with you. You want to grow your business. You need to sit around people who speak entrepreneurship. So it is important that you create a conducive space for you to be able to grow. Remove what is not good and add what is good for your growth goal. Right. Tip number 6 is develop your growth habits. One of my favorite writers, James Allen, says, "As a man thinketh, so is he." Everything that we do outward in the form of actions is a result of the thoughts that we continuously entertained, and they became actions, and therefore they formed habits, and by extension we become that very thing, which is our characters. So it is very important that you develop your growth habits, and the best way that you can do that is constantly being mindful about the things that you think. What are you exposing yourself to? If you want to have a prayerful life, expose yourself to prayerful things. If you want to grow your business, expose yourself to entrepreneurship. If you would like to lose weight, then expose yourself to fitness things. It is important that your mind is also changed, be renewed in the way that you think, so that your actions may change, and by extension, your habits will do so. And when I say develop a habit, it means it's something that you need to be working on a daily basis. So I'm going to try and read my Bible every day. I'm going to try and pray every day. I am going to try and exercise every day. Let that be a habit, right? Tip number 7, set your daily growth goals. So each and every day, have a goal towards your growth. What it is that you want to achieve today. Yes, you have the bigger goal of having a prayerful life, or fasting, or running that business very successfully, but break it down into daily attainable goals that you can be able to pursue every day. And you can be able at the end of the day to just look back and say, okay, did I manage to do this? Did I manage to do that? Because remember, 100 Rand is made up of 101 rands. It's the little things that we do in multiplication, in consistency, with discipline and commitment that actually afford us great things. So if we are not being consistent in those little things on a daily basis, then we cannot achieve the bigger goal. Right. Tip number 8 rather, hold yourself accountable. This is something that is very hard as human beings because we are very defensive. I mean, ask Adam, okay? When God came, he was like, no, it's not me. It's that woman that you gave to me. The woman was like, no, it's the snake. We are always defensive. We always have reason. We always have excuse why we didn't do this or why we are there, not over there. So it is important that you hold yourself accountable. If you know that you were supposed to do something, then hold yourself accountable. Admit to yourself and say, you know what, I didn't get to achieve that when I was supposed to do it. And if you need to maybe deprive yourself of something that was going to be your reward, then do so. And if you did amazingly well, reward yourself. That's also a very good thing. It's important for you to celebrate yourself. But be responsible enough to admit if you are not doing your best with what you had set, with what you had committed, with what you had said you were going to do. And if you need to maybe restructure in order for it to be more possible, then do so. Right. Growth tip number 9, as we come into a closure, it is important that you cultivate this growth. So what mostly happens with most people is that they will have a goal, and once they reach that goal, it's like, oh, there's nothing more to do and it's stuck. But what we don't realize is that when you actually continuously cultivate your goal, by the time you achieve it, the mind wants more, and that's what we want. We must be in constant growth at all times. So yes, you wanted to have a closer relationship with God, and you said you were going to have a prayerful life, you were going to pray 3 times a day, but now you do, then what? So you must ensure that you cultivate that goal. On top of that goal, let there be another on a daily basis that is interconnected to the one that you're currently achieving, so that you don't get to that space and be comfortable and say, okay, I have achieved it and then I am fine. And lastly, give yourself grace. I know it is something that is so hard for us to do because we put so much pressure in ourselves, but it is important that you become kind. God is a patient God, and what matters is your intention. Are you being intentional? Are you committed? How much do you want it? And are you trying your best? And if you know that you are, then be graceful to yourself because God is. And with that said, I would like to leave you with a verse that is very close to my heart from the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8. Paul says, God is able to make all things abound toward you, that you, always having sufficiency in all things, may abound in every good work. God is able to make all things abound, that you, having sufficiency in all things, may abound in every good work. So that is my prayer for you and I. Abound in every good work, because God is making all things abound. God bless. See you next time.